My name's Emily Carter, and lately, my life feels like it's unraveling. I'm sitting in the back of a taxi right now, the engine humming beneath me, the cool leather sticking to my legs. The windows are starting to fog, and the world outside is just a blur of streetlights. I didn't plan to be here, not like this. But sometimes you don't realize how trapped you are until you're gasping for air. Before I get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. It means a lot to keep this channel going. If you're already here, thanks for listening. Here's how it started. Tonight began with a fight. Another one. David, my husband, has been grinding me down for weeks. It's not just the little things anymore, like forgetting to take out the trash or leaving his gym bag in the hall. It's bigger, uglier. He's been pushing me, pressuring me in ways I can't stomach. Tonight he came home late again, reeking of bourbon, his tie loose around his neck. I was in the kitchen washing dishes, trying to keep the peace. But he stumbled in, his voice slurring, and started in on me. "Why are you always so cold, Em?" he said, leaning too close, his breath hot and sour. "You used to be fun. What happened to that girl?" I told him to back off. I said it clear, firm. "No, David, not tonight." But he didn't listen. He grabbed my wrist, not hard enough to bruise, but tight enough to make my skin crawl. "Come on, just loosen up," he pressed, his eyes glassy. "You owe me that much." Owe him? After 8 years of marriage, that's what I am now, a debt to be paid? I yanked my arm free and shoved him back, my heart pounding. "I said no!" My voice cracked, louder than I meant it to. He stared at me, stunned for a second, then his face twisted. Anger, maybe shame, I couldn't tell. "You're such a damn tease," he spat, turning away like I'd ruined his night. That was it. I couldn't breathe in that house anymore. I grabbed my phone, my coat, and stormed out. The door slammed behind me, the sound ricocheting through the quiet street as I fled David's house. My hands trembled as I booked a ride, my breath fogging in the cold. His voice still rang in my ears, slurred, possessive. "You don't get to say no, Em." He'd pinned my wrist, his bourbon stench choking me, ignoring my pleas until I'd shoved him off and ran. I needed out anywhere but that suffocating cage. Headlights cut through the dark, a black sedan rolling up fast. I yanked the door open, ready to collapse in the back, but something reckless took over. I slid into the passenger seat instead, the leather cool against my thighs, my coat still clinging to my skin from the fight. You know you're not supposed to sit there, right?" The driver's voice was deep, edged with surprise, and I turned to snap back, then froze. Jake Sullivan. High school flashed back, his quiet stares, the way he'd hover near me, never bold enough to act. But now? His face was sharper, shadowed, and those eyes, dark, almost too vivid, locked on mine with an intensity that stole my breath. I tossed my hair back, forcing a laugh to hide the jolt. "What, you gonna kick me out?" He smirked, a slow, knowing curve of his lips, and I noticed it then, the second odd thing. His presence hit me like a wave, cedar, smoke, a hint of something darker, like late-night whiskey, and secrets whispered in the dark. He wasn't just Jake anymore. He was magnetic, dangerous, his dark hair ruffled just enough to hint at a wildness he'd kept leashed back then. My stomach twisted, a pleasant ache I couldn't ignore as I inhaled him deeper. "Guess I'll make an exception," he said, voice low, a caress that made my pulse skip. "ID?" I fumbled in my bag, handing it over with a shaky hand. He barely glanced at it, his fingers brushing mine, warm, deliberate, before giving it back. "Where to?" he asked, starting the engine. "Anywhere but here," I muttered, glancing back at the house, half expecting David's truck to peel out after me. Jake's eyes flicked to me, piercing. "Rough night?" I nodded, bitter. "Husband's a drunk asshole. Tried to force me tonight, wouldn't stop. I'm done." His jaw tightened, a flash of something fierce in his gaze. "He doesn't deserve you, never did." The car surged forward, cutting through the city like a blade. "Where are we headed?" I asked, adrenaline still buzzing. Jake's grin was sharp, almost predatory. "Somewhere he won't find you. Ever hit the old warehouse district?" I frowned. "That's a shit show, sketchy as hell." He chuckled, dark and warm. Keeps it fun. I know the back roads. Trust me. His confidence pulled me in, and I didn't argue, just watched the streets blur past. We rolled by the diner, its neon flickering. "Fries and Coke," I said, a ghost of a smile tugging at me. "You'd always let me steal 'em." His laugh was rich, velvet over steel. "Couldn't resist you then. Still can't." The park loomed next, swings creaking in the wind. "Snuck out there once," he said, voice dropping. "You danced on the table, wild as hell. Drove me crazy." I smirked, bittersweet. David hated that, called it trashy. Jake's eyes darkened. "He's a fool. That's the real you." My phone buzzed, David's name flashing. I silenced it, but it lit up again, a voicemail spitting venom. "Get back here, Em. You don't run from me." My gut twisted. "He's coming," I whispered. Jake's grip tightened on the wheel. Let him try. The streets turned gritty, warehouses rising like specters. Shadows moved on a corner, guys watching, eyes glinting, and my nerves prickled. "This place is trouble," I said. Jake nodded. "We're out soon, hang on." Then headlights flared behind us, David's truck, roaring close. "Shit!" I gasped. Jake cursed, flooring it, the car lurching through alleys, tires screeching. My heart pounded, fear mixing with a strange thrill as we lost him near the river, pulling into a shadowed lot. The engine idled, and I caught my breath, the air thick with his scent. Intoxicating, overwhelming. "You okay?" he asked, voice husky. I nodded, adrenaline sparking. "Yeah, you're insane, and I love it." The river sprawled before us, a dark, shimmering void under the moon, the city's hum fading to a whisper. Jake turned to me, his face taut, the dashboard's glow igniting his eyes, dark, vivid, like embers ready to blaze. "Emily," he rasped, voice low and jagged, thick with raw need. "I can't hold this back anymore. That chase, nearly losing you. It broke me open. You're everything, stunning, wild, untamed. Back then, I'd watch you in that red jacket, your laugh cutting me deep, and I'd burn wanting you. Every look, every move. I craved you so damn bad it choked me. Thought I'd lost my shot, but now, I'd fight anything for you. I just did." His words hit like a spark to gasoline, my breath snagging as heat surged through me. I slid closer, the leather creaking under my thighs, my hand finding his, rough, warm, trembling with want. "You think I'm worth it?" I murmured, voice husky, daring. He leaned in, eyes blazing, dark and fierce. "Worth everything. You're fire, Em. Gorgeous, reckless. I've ached for you since I could ache." My skin ignited, his confession aflame licking at my edges. I didn't wait. I climbed over the console, settling beside him, the space so tight my thighs pressed hard against his, my knees grazing the rough denim of his jeans. The air snapped, thick with his scent. Cedar, smoke, a dark twist of whiskey that drowned my senses, pulling me under. "Take me, now," I whispered, a sultry command. His breath hitched, a sharp groan ripping from him, and his lips crashed into mine, fierce, ravenous, a hunger unleashed. His hands gripped my shoulders, fingers sinking through my coat, yanking me in with a force that made my pulse roar. I tangled my hands in his hair, wild, silky, untamed, tugging him closer, tasting the desperate edge of him. Salt, heat, a raw wildfire that set me ablaze. The windows fogged fast, the air turning humid, dense with heat. His lips broke away, trailing slow and searing down my jaw, my neck, each kiss a jolt, a spark that raced down my spine. I arched into him, the leather slick beneath me, his body a furnace burning against my skin. My hand slid down his chest, nails scraping through his shirt, feeling the hard muscle tense under my touch. Headlights slashed through the dark outside, a fleeting glare, and my heart lurched, the danger sharpening every nerve. "Don't stop!" I gasped, voice wrecked, dripping with need. He growled, a low, primal sound that vibrated through me, his hands sliding down my arms, gripping tight, possessive, hungry. The car rocked as we pressed closer, the space shrinking to nothing, just his breath scorching my throat, my fingers digging into his shoulders, the heat spiraling fast and wild. His lips reclaimed mine, hungrier now, a clash of teeth and tongue that swallowed the air. I pressed my chest against his, the friction sending sparks through me, my thighs tightening against his hips. A horn blared, sharp, close, tires screeching past, a shadow darting by, but it only fueled me. I raked my nails down his back, craving the roughness, the edge, and he groaned louder, his hands roaming, firm, sure, tracing my waist, my hips pulling me tighter against him. The car's frame creaked under our weight, every move electric, every breath a ragged rush. His lips brushed my ear, hot and teasing, his voice a wrecked growl. "You're killing me, Em. Too damn good." I grinned, breathless, nipping his jaw, my voice a sultry tease. "Good. Wreck me back." The air thickened, the scent of him, sweat, cedar, desire, flooding me, driving me higher. We were a tangle of heat, skin buzzing, pulses hammering, the world outside fading to a blur. His forehead pressed against mine, his hands gripping my thighs, and I melted into him, lost, alive, consumed by a fire we couldn't quench. The air inside the taxi hung heavy, thick with heat and the ragged edge of our breaths. My head rested against Jake's shoulder, his chest rising and falling fast beneath me, his heartbeat a wild thrum echoing my own. The windows stayed fogged, a shroud sealing us in, the river outside a faint blur through the haze. His hand lingered on my thigh, fingers tracing slow, lazy lines that sent shivers skittering across my skin, keeping the fire smoldering. My lips still tingled from his, my body buzzing with a raw, electric hum that refused to fade. I shifted, the leather creaking under me, and lifted my eyes to his. Jake's face was flushed, his hair a tangled mess from my hands, a wicked grin curling his lips. Dark, dangerous, irresistible. "Holy hell, Em," he murmured, voice rough and low, a growl that vibrated through me. "You've got no idea what you do to me." I smirked, my fingers brushing his jaw, feeling the stubble scrape my skin. "Oh, I think I do." His laugh was deep, a rumble that sparked heat low in my belly, his gaze locking me in, intense, hungry, like he could devour me all over again. We stayed there, tangled in the quiet, the air thick with his scent, cedar, smoke, a dark twist of whiskey that clung to me, intoxicating. My chest pressed against his, my thighs still tight against his hips, and every small shift sent a jolt through me, a reminder of how alive he made me feel. This wasn't just a moment, it was a drug, a rush I couldn't get enough of, and I knew I'd never felt this before, not like this, not this wild, this free. My nails grazed his neck, and he tensed, a sharp intake of breath that made me grin wider. I wanted more of him, more of this fire, and the thought alone set my pulse racing again. A low rumble cut the silence, tires on gravel close, followed by a flash of headlights piercing the fogged glass. My heart skipped, the thrill of danger spiking through me, but I didn't pull away. Jake's hand tightened on my thigh, possessive, his voice a whisper against my ear. "Someone's out there. Want me to stop?" I shook my head, my lips brushing his throat, tasting the salt of his skin. "No, let them watch." His groan was instant, rough and needy, and he pulled me closer, his fingers digging in, the risk only fanning the flames between us. My phone buzzed somewhere in the back, ignored, forgotten, but the sound sharpened my edge. I didn't care who it was, what they wanted. All I cared about was this: Jake's heat, his hands, the way he made every inch of me sing. I leaned back, catching his gaze, my voice steady despite the chaos in my chest. "I'm not done with you, not even close." His eyes darkened, a flicker of something fierce lighting them up. "Good, 'cause I'm nowhere near done with you either." He leaned in, his lips grazing mine. Not a kiss, but a tease, a promise that made my breath hitch. The rumble outside grew louder, a car slowing, circling, and Jake's jaw tightened, but his hand stayed on me, firm, unyielding. "We should move," he said, voice low, urgent, but laced with a grin. "My place, unless you want an audience." I laughed, breathless, my fingers curling into his shirt. "Take me there. I want you all to myself." He exhaled sharply, like I'd knocked the air from him, then fired up the engine, his hand still gripping mine. "Hold on," he said, and the car lurched forward, tires biting the road, the night stretching out dark and wild ahead of us. I settled back, my body still pressed to his side, the heat between us a live wire, and I knew this was just the start. The car tore through the night, the engine's growl a steady pulse beneath us as we left the river behind. My hand stayed locked with Jake's, his thumb brushing my knuckles, a small tease that kept my skin humming. The fogged windows streaked with cool air, the city lights flickering past like sparks in the dark. My coat still carried his scent, cedar, smoke, that dark whiskey edge, and my body thrummed with the memory of his lips, his hands, the way he'd set me ablaze in that cramped front seat. I leaned into him, my shoulder pressed to his, the heat between us a live wire that wouldn't quit. Jake shot me a glance, his grin sharp and wild, eyes glinting with a hunger that made my stomach flip. "You're trouble, Em," he said, voice low, rough with a tease that sent a shiver down my spine. I smirked, tracing a finger along his arm, feeling the muscle flex under my touch. "You love it." His laugh was deep, a rumble that sparked heat in my core, and he squeezed my hand tighter. "Damn right I do." The truth burned through me, bright and fierce. This was where I belonged. Not in some suffocating house, not with someone else's rules. This, right here, with Jake's heat, his reckless edge, his fire matching mine. Every kiss back there, every scrape of his stubble, every grip of his hands had woken something in me. A wildness I'd buried too long. I wasn't just running away, I was running toward something, someone who made me feel alive, wanted, unstoppable. My fingers curled into his shirt, tugging lightly, and he grinned wider, like he knew exactly what I was thinking. We hit his street, the car slowing as we pulled into his driveway, but the quiet didn't last. A low roar cut through the night, headlights flaring behind us. Too familiar, too fast. David's truck screeched around the corner, his silhouette hunched, furious, eyes locked on us through the windshield. My pulse spiked, adrenaline flooding me, but Jake's hand tightened on mine, steady, unyielding. "He's too late," he said, voice hard, a promise edged with steel. He floored it, the car lurching into the garage just as David's truck swerved close, tires squealing. The garage door slammed shut, cutting him off, and the silence crashed in, tense, electric. I turned to Jake, chest heaving, the thrill still buzzing through me. His face was lit by the dim garage light, fierce and alive, his breath as ragged as mine. "You're safe," he said, pulling me across the console, his lips brushing my temple, hot and firm. I pressed into him, my hands fisting his shirt, feeling the solid heat of him against me. "I'm more than safe," I whispered, my voice a sultry edge. "I'm yours." His eyes darkened, a growl slipping from him as he kissed me, slow, deep, a claim that sealed the night. This wasn't just a fling, it was a line crossed, a fire lit, a choice I'd never unmake. Jake had me, body, soul, every wild inch, and I'd never felt freer. Some nights rewrite you, and this one had burned me down to build me back up. What would you have done? Tell me in the comments. I'm dying for your takes. If this hit you, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. More is coming. Stay tuned. See you next time.